Hello and welcome to the Stress Mastery Podcast. I am your host, Peggy Romero, and I thank you for joining me today on this Saturday podcast. Finally, it's Saturday, and this week we've been talking about getting organized. So I'm thinking, part of getting organized is taking care of yourself. There's another year ending soon, and the new one's fast approaching. So are you ready for it? Are you getting organized? Are you intending to become the you that you've always known you could be? So you got to get yourself set up. You got to get organized if you're going to prosper in all 5 life categories. And remember, a balanced life, they all need to be taken care of. Career, finance, health, relationships, and personal spiritual development. It's really important to organize yourself emotionally, financially, and spiritually. You've got to take care of yourself. Make plans for yourself. Set goals within your purpose. And speaking of purpose, if you haven't done the purpose exercise yet, please reach out. Let's start the new year knowing what your purpose is. So we'll be happy to help you with that. So if you're going to achieve your goals, you're going to have organized thoughts. You have to live on purpose. Clear your head, take a breath, and be intentional about things. So they say that we have 70,000 thoughts a day. So it's important that we learn how to organize them, right? We don't just want them spinning around up there. So let go of the ones that don't serve you and then properly file the ones that we still need. So remember, you got to be aware of what you're thinking, because when the ego has conscious mind control, this is when you're allowing this whirlwind of thoughts to run through your head and your mind becomes so disorganized. But you can fix this because you can actually take control of your thoughts. Of course you can. You get to choose what you think about. Awareness. Notice what you're thinking about. How are you ever going to get organized in your mind if you're not even aware of what you're thinking? You can't, of course. So remember, you're in charge. Most of our thoughts are just that. They're just a thought. And they might not even be true. Lots of times they're not based in any kind of fact at all. And remember that whirlwind of our thoughts that I mentioned? That's how the ego keeps control. The whirlwind, the speed, the chaotic mess that we've created in our minds. If we're not aware, it just keeps spinning. I know I've felt it before. Spinning crazy fast, and it creates overwhelm, like, oh, what if this, and oh, remember that, and oh no, oh crap. So take a breath, slow down for a minute, connect to the Holy Spirit, be still just for the moment. So this week was so full of podcasts that were amazing, so much information. And one day Bill shared a study from the National Institute of Aging. They found that allowing your mind to be disorganized is actually bad for you. A disorganized mind leads to high stress, chronic negativity, and more. Of course, this is going to stifle our productivity. A disorganized mind also contributes to health problems, including weight gain, heart disease, sleep problems, and headaches. He also referenced a man named Edward Hallowell. He's a therapist who helps people deal with disorganized minds. So here's what he says happens when you fall victim to invasive thoughts. He makes impulsive judgments, angrily rushing to bring closure. He is robbed of his flexibility, his sense of humor, and his ability to deal with the unknown. He forgets the big picture and the goals and values that he stands for. He loses his creativity and his ability to change plans. Of course, the he is actually not him. The he is the ego blocking the green zone mind. But I've felt like that before. Not for a few years since I started Stress Mastery, but I was completely inflexible, didn't have any fun anymore, and was just stuck there. So anyways, it's a terrible place to be. On the other hand, an organized mind allows flow and creativity. The flow is a state of balance where you're free from distracting thoughts. We have focus in flow. So research shows that people working in a state of flow are 5 times more productive than they'd be otherwise. 5 times. My gosh, you could get way more done, right? So the reason, when you're in flow, you're in the green zone. So of course, we would all love to live in this flow, right? The wonderful green zone energies. So we're able to live in expansion instead of restriction. We can organize our lives so that we can set ourselves up to work free of distraction and then stay focused. When we get distracted, we can learn to refocus. I hear so many people laugh. I know it's like a cultural norm to say, oh, squirrel. And people claim that they're hyperactive and they can't stay focused and they can't help it. But you know what? I'm kind of hyper too. My mind does wander, but I've learned to train myself. And if I can do it, anyone can. So it's really important to train our minds because those distractions take up so much of our time. It's just wasted time. But in order to have focus, you need to practice awareness. And once you become aware of your thoughts, then you can keep your mind free of clutter because you're just constantly letting it go. And awareness is always the answer because now you have conscious mind control. This is where you're in charge, no longer your ego. But you just got to remember to slow down. Being organized is great for your emotional well-being. It's important to be in an organized environment too. So, haven't you guys noticed, don't you feel better when things are nice and neat and free of clutter? I know I do. I can't work in a mess. So organize your thoughts and plans. Green Focus Power Hour is my go-to for this. And I'm not going to spend time on this life-changing practice, but it's in the Stress Mastery community. And you can hop in there and get it when you go get your purpose exercise. So set up a clean and well-organized workspace. Have what you need when you need it so that you're not always looking for stuff. Put it back where it goes. And here's another idea for organizing your emotional well-being. Learn to control your emotions. It's impossible to stop conflict. You're not going to change other people. You're not in charge of what they do or say. So yes, we get happy, sad, mad, nervous, angry all day long. You can't stop the stress and conflict, but you can decide if you're going to react or respond. Remember, the stress loop connects in just milliseconds. You can choose if you're going to let the ego take over and immediately react from the red zone, or you can practice awareness. You can just have enough awareness just to stop for a second, take a breath. Find your still point. Then you can respond from the green zone. And remember, the choice is always yours, all day long, every single day of our lives, because conflict is going to keep coming at us. The stress will never stop. But you can learn to control how you react to your emotions. You can learn to let it go. So I always remind myself, don't let anybody else steal my joy. That means a lot to me. I want joy and peace and love. So we're discussing getting organized to live your life to the fullest, emotionally, financially, and spiritually. So that was getting emotionally organized, being able to unclutter your brain so that your emotions are functioning properly. Now, on to the thoughts of getting financially organized. I'll start with one really important word, budget. I love Dave Ramsey. I haven't been listening to him lately, but I've listened to him for years, and he's all about the budget. No matter how much or how little money you have, you tell your money where to go. Budget every dollar. An organized budget is having an organized financial plan. And I love a good plan. People live in so much debt, buying things they can't afford. If you're going to be organized with your finances and make plans for your future, then having a budget and sticking to it is going to be vitally important. How else are you going to do it? So, do you know what you spend your money on? Because I think a lot of people don't. And if you're willing to find this out for certain, then go back through maybe 2 or 3 months and look at your debit card and your credit card purchases. Where'd your money go? Write it all out in different categories. It's important to really know what you're spending your hard-earned money on. Do you have an emergency fund, or do you have to charge something when things break down? So I looked on finder.com, and it states that 35% of adult Americans have car loans. Wow, 35%. And even this sounds even worse to me. We owed, back in 2019, $1.3 trillion in auto loan debt. Oh my gosh, what the heck? I know lots of people who just plan on having a car loan or a lease, for a lifetime. They just always have a car payment, and it's okay with them. It may not I don't know. It might just be because I'm not a car person, but I can't believe that. Like, I don't like to have a car payment. So yes, of course, I have had many car payments, but not lately, not in years. I love to have a paid off car now. Now I'd rather have a paid off car than a nice car. I know that I told you guys before, well, I don't mean, I do have a nice car, but I don't have to always have a new car. I guess that's what I mean. So I've told you guys before that in the late 1980s, I paid a car payment of $386 a month, and my insurance was $385 a month. Yikes. And that was 40 years ago. So no wonder I'm not into car payments anymore. Can you imagine the stress I was under? I was in my 20s, and I also had a mortgage, a boat, and another car loan. The $386 was just for my husband's car. It wasn't even for my car. Boy, was I young and dumb. Gosh, but it sure left a bad taste in my mouth. I was buried in debt, juggling every paycheck. Like 1 hour of being stupid at a car lot, making a bad decision would cause years more of payments. And we did it all the time. So just this year, I was thinking about buying myself a new car because my warranty was just expiring. And I like to have a car warranty because I don't know how to fix cars. So I always, wanted to be able to get fixed. So I started car shopping and I found cars I like. I especially do want a Cadillac sedan. And I debated, I weighed the pros and cons, and I decided against it. Because when I went to go to the car dealership to find out what my car was worth, and then I was getting an oil change and stuff, they told me that I could buy an extended warranty, bumper to bumper, just like a brand new car. Well, my car looks like new, and I still like it just fine. So I bought the warranty, paid, I think, $4,000 for it. And then I went out and got the car professionally detailed inside and out. And guess what? It looks like brand new. So instantly, I had a new car. Add the fresh new car scent, that air freshener, and ta-da! I got a new car. I'm totally happy with that. Because for me, the warranty is the important thing. My car looks nice and it runs perfectly and it has the warranty. So I'm totally happy with it. And I just saved at least $60,000. So I'm not one to keep up with the Joneses. I know a lot of people like to have a new car because everybody else has it, but I'm fine. So I can wait till I'm tired of my car because this car I still like and it gets really good gas mileage. I am a very practical person and I think that my decision was very practical and financially responsible for me to do. So to help you get started organizing your finances, I have a budgeting tool on my website. So I hope that it's not just car payments, you guys. It's like charging clothes that you can't afford, or, if you stop charging things, then you have more money in your bank account because they're not all going to payments and interest. So then you can pay cash for what you want. It's a whole system. So start your budget. It's so important. And now getting on to being organized spiritually. For many people, it's easy. For many people, we just put God first. But for others, we put God in a box and then we take him out on Sunday morning and take him to church with us. Or maybe we just take him out a couple times a year on the holidays. Our relationship with God is personal. And if you're good with your relationship, then that's all that matters. So I was thinking this morning. When I get back to Arizona each fall, my house is a mess. I have to get everything put back together. It's like spring cleaning. I pull it all out, I dust it all off, and I put it all back. The electricity has been off for half a year, and everything just seems so drab and dusty. I like to put oil on my furniture and my mantle, adding some moisture and shine. I don't feel great until everything's shiny and new. Windows cleaned, including the dust out of the tracks, and all my floors are done. Since the floors are last to be done, well, you get the picture. It's all done. So it's like a tune-up or spring cleaning. We can do this for our spirit too. Clear out the junk, wipe off the dust, put a polish on that connection. It's like, oh, Holy Spirit, there you are. I forgot about you. We can find ourselves getting so caught up in life, work, places, things that we neglect ourselves. We forget to put our goals first. We forget what really matters to us. Our relationships matter, including our relationship with God. Life is so much easier, our path clearer, and life is sweeter when we're connected to the creator of the universe. When you're connected to your heart, when you're connected to the green zone energies, you're connected to the green zone mind or to the creation mind. So when you are the one thinking, feeling, being, when you're connected and living in the now, that present moment, it's all that matters. When you can hold that connection, you can rise up and experience peace, love, and joy. And isn't that what we really want? So how do I get that, you may ask? Well, I say gratitude and forgiveness. But you have to be organized even for that if you're not used to it. You have to put those things on your schedule. You have to be purposeful and intentional and make time for God. Make time for the relationship. So I have places in my schedule for it. For one thing, I start off every day with Green Focus Power Hour. Mine actually takes longer than an hour now that I don't have to work a 9 to 5 job every day. I can take all the time I want. So mine does take longer because now I've added a Course in Miracles to it. I listen to Joel Osteen, and then I walk for a long time after and listen to my podcast. So I set my phone to go off to remind me several times a day to reconnect to myself, to reconnect to my spirit, rest, relax, release, respond, that Bill's been talking about. I also close my day with gratitude, and I remember forgiveness is part of that for me. I don't want to go to bed with any unresolved conflicts. I like to talk them out with whoever I had the conflict with. If I can't, I journal them out. And lots of times I do both. And I thank God for everything, including who I am, what my day was, what my day will be tomorrow, and also who He is to me. Of course, like I said, your relationship is personal. So you get to decide what works for you. Maybe it's prayer, meditation, going to church, or Bible study. Any of that or all of it works. Doing nothing, just connecting. You get to figure out how to create your spiritual connection for yourself. It's totally up to you. But we're talking about organization. So remember, you're going to have to plan it. If it's not already in your schedule, you have to organize your schedule so that it will fit in. So in every part of our life, in all 5 life categories, we have to have a clear mind. We have to be able to think things through. So I encourage you to make organization a priority. Declutter your home, your car, your office, your mind. I know that there's lots of people who say that they like to live in a mess. I can't even imagine it. I don't even know what that would mean. It's just something that I don't understand. Like how? I feel uncomfortable in a mess. I don't like sitting in a mess. I don't like looking at a mess. I don't like getting up to a mess. Now, don't get me wrong. My house isn't one of those houses that are perfectly clean where I'm like picking up your cup before you take the last sip. I'm not like that. I just like things to be neat. I like things to be organized. So here's something that I'm having to think through a lot lately, though. My desktop on my laptop is full of all the little icons or whatever they're called. It drives my son crazy. To him, it's a mess. To him, it's completely disorganized. But to me, it is organized because I know how to find things on my desktop. And once I put things in a file, then I might not know where they are anymore. And if I don't know where they are, then this can cause me a lot of wasted time looking for them. And when I can't find it, dread. I'm not sure that this isn't the only place that I'm not organized yet, but I know it's a really good place to start. So getting organized is just as important as staying organized. It's not a one-time thing. So I learned what we call green focus management from Bill a few years ago, and I don't do all of it. He has a daily tracking sheet and stuff. I already have what I do for the day, but I do sit down every Sunday and set up my week. So I have so many things that I want to do and what I like to do and that are important for me to do that I have to prioritize my time. If I don't, it's impossible for me to stay organized. Like I pre-prep my meals. So that means that when I'm doing my Sunday green focus management, I have to schedule and go into the grocery store. I also have to make my grocery shopping list. I walk every morning and every evening. It's really important to me. In the morning, I walk alone, listen to my podcast. That's important. In the evening, I walk with friends. That's also important. I like to have that connection with people. I go to the gym for strength training. I take a Tai Chi class. And I just started a flexibility class this week. That's 3 times a week. And I still have lots of work to do. I have meetings with people weekly. I have several meetings that are all set up. I'm a writer, so I have to write. I have a podcast. I have to write and record this podcast. I'm working on creating a workbook, and I have to keep up my presence on social media and create content for my website. But since I'm my own boss, it's up to me to set up the work schedule. Nobody sets it for me. So I have to organize my life if I'm going to get all that done. And also, just let me tell you, I'm a very social person, and I love people, and I love to help people. So if I hear that someone's sick, I stop what I'm doing. I make them some fresh chicken soup. I put it in a quart jar. I tie it with a big bow. I have some really cute bows that have hearts and stuff on them. And then I write them out a nice card and I bring it to them. Speaking of cards, I love to play cards and games. I'm social. So I could do that every day if I had the time. I play 1 day a week cards because the card game I like to play takes a few hours. And then I also play a game or cards or something 1 night a week. I like to work. I like to exercise. I like to sleep. So that's all I can fit into my schedule. So I don't plan anything for after 4 o'clock. After that, I make dinner. And then I do walk at 6 till 6:45 or 7, but I consider that as social. So once in a while, I'll have dinner with friends or do some other socializing. But I like to go to bed early because I like to wake up early. Well, actually, I wake up early no matter what time I go to bed. And I used to only sleep like 5 or 6 hours. But now I've made sleeping at least 7 hours a priority. So I have to go to bed early. As part of my Green Focus Power Hour, I set my day, and I have plenty of time within my daily schedule to be flexible and take care of the things that I will need to do. So I like to check in with my kids, and if they call me, I want to be able to talk. I like to talk to my friends that are still in Portland on the phone. I do my banking, pay my bills, eat lunch, all that stuff. You can't do all of these things in a day if you don't organize your life. And remember, the body supports the mind. So if you think you're too tired, you are. And if you think you don't have time to take care of yourself, you don't. And please listen to all the podcasts from this week if you missed any of them, because they were all so great on organization. So for me, organization starts with decluttering your mind. Clear out the cobwebs so you can see the beautiful life that is here and now. And I'm asking you to start each day with a plan. Plan to be happy, fulfilled, and organized. Live every day on purpose. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. Plan on that. And plan on seeing the beautiful life that is right here in front of you and make the most of it. So you're going to have to let go of all the turmoil that you've had in the past if you're going to experience that, right? So learn the let go technique. You got to be organized with your time. Get organized with your food so that you'll have healthy options on hand all the time. Guaranteed you're going to feel better, sleep better, and think better if you're eating a proper diet. And you'll never have a reason to stop and buy junky food if you have a meal plan. So set yourself up to be organized one step at a time, because if you try to do everything at once that you heard on the podcast this week, you're just going to overwhelm yourself. But step by step, it will all come together. So figure out where you want to start and then be consistent. Daily schedule maybe, or maybe the weekly schedule, not sure. You got to do it for yourself. I do know for sure that being organized makes life easier. And I hope that the ideas that I have shared with you guys will help. I was reminded this week that my kids take after me in the good things and the bad things. So get organized for your kids. Eat healthy for your kids. Make schedules for your kids. Do the budget for your kids because they're going to follow you. And remember, you can join the Stress Mastery community to get any and all of these resources for free. Everything that I talked about today. Also, for my budgeting tool that I just made, I'm calling it Pennies with Purpose. That's not on Bill's website, but it is at PeggyRomero.com. And you can also contact me through that same website for help if you need it. And as always, you guys, I thank you for joining me today. And remember, our mission here is to create a shift in the planet, and you can join us on that mission by simply like, share, and subscribe. The links are right below the show notes. As always, until next time, stay inspired.